Good morning. My name is Dr. Christopher Grills. I'm the music director here at Parish, and I've been asked to talk about how we sing and why we sing. And as our choir just sang by Gwyneth Walker, the How Can I Keep From Singing? Singing is an innately human activity. It doesn't matter whether you are trained or not, whether you think you can sing or not, or whether you can carry a tune in a bucket or not. Singing, phonating, sharing music is an integral part of the human experience. Singing has been used since the dawn of time for recreational, entertainment, religious, and even political purposes. I still have a very vivid memory of a colleague of mine protesting climate change in a church in New York City by singing Dona Nobis Pacem, which we will sing today after this speech at our mini hymn sing. If you've read the order of worship, you will notice that what comes next is 3 hymns, one after another. I'm sure you've also noticed the projector up here in the front, displaying everything right here. The extra hymns and projector are here today because we are beta testing an upcoming resource from the UUA, the virtual hymnal. If you've read my letter to the congregation or been to a music committee, worship committee, or standing committee meeting, there's a chance you've probably heard at least a little bit about the virtual hymnal set to launch General Assembly 2025. And for those of you, whether by fortune or misfortune, have not been privy to my lectures, I will briefly summarize it now. The virtual hymnal is being released as a supplement to our print hymnal. And before all of you clutch your pearls, I want to emphasize this is a supplement to the hymnal. It is not replacing our print hymnals. It will become sort of a living document where new hymns and songs by living composers, UU or otherwise, can be added every month or every quarter. This has tremendous implications for the transformation of our UU hymnody over time. Another benefit of the virtual hymnal will be that all the hymns included and songs will be permissioned for streaming and duplication, which was absolutely not the case with our print hymnals, which were created in a pre-streaming world. This means we can sing anything in the virtual hymnal without having to report our usage of these hymns to the companies from which we purchased our licenses. There are also some useful features to music directors and worship planners. The VH will allow for searching by theme or words or time of year, and will feature transposed copies of all the hymns so that I can play them in a different key if it feels too high or low for the congregation. If we as a congregation decide to subscribe to the virtual hymnal, it will surely influence how we sing and what we sing in worship. I've also been asked to mention that if and when we do, we will have a better monitor than this. This is not a theater-style projector. This is a conference room style. And so we would, as a congregation, would invest in more appropriate monitors, and probably also on both sides so that people wouldn't have to crane their neck to look all the way over here. So now we have the how and the what, but why? But what about the why? Why do we sing? We as in Unitarian Universalists in a congregation. What do these settings of text and music mean to us as UUs? Well, if we were speaking in true UU fashion, we would say that singing means different things to different people and that everyone's interpretation of what singing means to them is valid. While this is certainly true, I wanted to touch on a few reasons as to why congregational singing is so important, especially in this day and age. Firstly, music in general has always been a very important part of our First Parish community since long before my time. I still sometimes feel myself in the shadows of Patricia Moore, a tremendous music director who was here for 31 years and who ran a powerhouse music program. I have never worked long-term at a church where music was as important as it is here. Just try to imagine for a moment our Sunday morning services without the hymns, without the choir anthems, even without the incidental music before and after the service. It's really not a pleasant or pretty picture, is it? I would go so far to say that if we had no music in our services, many people would not come to worship here. Music has become such an innate part of our culture that it is almost impossible to imagine our services without it. Secondly, the words we sing in our hymns and anthems reflect our UU identities. There are hymns in our hymnals that reflect every value: equity, generosity, pluralism, transformation, justice, interdependence, and most of all, love. You may not see this up front, but behind the scenes, Ellen and I spend quite a bit of time poring over hymns and trying to find the ones, the exact perfect text to fit the mood and message of service. And I do the same with the anthems I choose. So if you've ever thought, hey, that hymn goes really well with what Ellen was just talking about, I assure you that is not a coincidence. Yeah. Just as it is Ellen's job to provide thought-provoking and intelligent sermons, it is literally in my job description, and I quote, engage the congregation in singing with a musical experience that reflects our Unitarian Universalist identity. Granted, that would be the job of any music director you hire, not just me, but I wanted to make clear that this is a high priority for myself and the other members of our worship staff. Thirdly, scientific research indicates that singing, especially in a large group like a choir or congregation, offers a range of health benefits, including stress reduction, improved mood, boosted immune function, enhanced lung capacity, improved memory, and increased social connection, primarily due to the release of endorphins and oxytocin while engaging the body's respiratory system and brain function through complex musical patterns. It is scientifically proven, and I'm happy to provide you with sources that support these findings. And finally, singing in consort in our worship services and other events allows us to profoundly connect with one another in a way only music can facilitate. It is not just because music is important at First Parish, or because we are singing about our shared identities, or because singing has health benefits, but because of something more inherent to our own selves as humans. Think of how easy it is to recall the words in the tune to a familiar hymn that you grew up with. Think of what feelings come to your chest and your heart when you remember magical moments when you have been singing with others in times of joy or in times of trial and tribulations. Think of how you felt when you lost a loved one, and the music at their celebration of life perhaps brought you past this mortal world into the infinite, in a way that maybe, just for a brief moment, they were still on earth here with us. If you've experienced any of this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, I only wish for you to experience it someday, because there's truly nothing like it. We can't deny it. Singing is a part of who we are. In a world so turbulent, full of discord, plagued by greed and injustice, our choice to sing is an act of defiance against the systems of oppression and hate. Many historically targeted communities have developed entire repertoires that were sung out of a dire need for the ending of oppression and injustice. We now live in a country where protections for many of our most vulnerable populations may be in jeopardy. In face of all this, I ask you, how can we keep from singing? How can we keep from singing? Thank you.